Content is for adults only. Viewer discretion advised. If you haven't yet, hit the subscribe, like, and share. Hello everyone and welcome back to another live stream with me, Gisela K. This is Grizzly True Crime, and today we're going to be looking at a case out of Texas, and it involves an attorney who's actually been arrested, and I don't know yet if he's got his own attorney. You know, is he going to pay for an attorney? Is he going to get a public defender? I don't know what's going to happen here, but I do want to tell you about this tragic case involving a 20-year-old son that he shot. So we're going to go over what happened and where and all of that in a moment. Welcome to all my moderators, patrons, members, subscribers, any locals in chat. Anyone from Texas here in chat with us? I know we have many Texan Grizzlies, so welcome to all of you as well. And of course, any family and friends of the victim. Tracy Snows is so excited to be here with you all. I'm so excited to see you all as well. If you are a YouTube member, we are going to have a members only stream right after the stream. So you'll be teleported there and then we will chat over there as always. All right, so first I've got a presentation for you. You know I like to make presentations for you. So let's look at that, and then we're going to watch the press conference from yesterday together. And then they will also go over some of these details again, and we'll learn some more details too. All right, so Mark Randall Howard is pictured on the right-hand side there. 20 years old, lived in Houston, Texas with his dad, Michael C. Howard. I think also his mom, but I'm not too sure where his mom is or who she is. I've only seen one article mention that Michael, his dad, may have called his wife and older brother before he called the police. So that's all I can find. There's not much information in this case yet, but we're gonna be here for a little bit because we're going over the presentation. I'll show you the map as well, and we're gonna watch the press conference together. So 20-year-old Mark Randall Howard lived in Houston, Texas with his dad, Michael C. Howard. This is a photo of Mark, apparently with his teacher. They posted it on Facebook under a group called True Crime Society, calling for backup. And they said, adding pictures of Mark with his teacher, who is a group member of ours. Shame. Oh my goodness. So he was a special needs son with Down syndrome, which is a genetic condition where a person is born with an extra copy of chromosome 21. This means that they have a total of 47 chromosomes instead of 46. This can affect how their brain and body develop. People diagnosed with Down syndrome have happy and healthy lives with supportive care. And he was high functioning, had a job. I don't know exactly what job he had. I would love to know. So if anyone has any more information, please email me, grizzlytruecrime@gmail.com. I really appreciate information, especially if you're local or you know the family or anything like that. So he was apparently high functioning, had a job, loved his life, and he had his whole life ahead of him, 20 years old. It's a nice picture as well with his teacher. Abby and Rosie's mom said, I feel sad already. It is very sad. So this is Michael C. Howard pictured, top right. I cannot find another picture of him, just the mugshot. And I have tried very hard, and I've asked others to help me try. Okay, we sent Grizzly Cat down a rabbit hole. This is the only picture I have of him. Michael C. Howard, Mark's father. He's an attorney with a private practice based in Houston, Texas. Michael C. Howard, attorneys at law. Then, of course, I was interested in, what kind of attorney is he? What did he offer? He lived on a private 2,500-acre property on Mount Sinai Road, Texas, near Fairmount. Practice areas: ethics, legal, malpractice, family, litigation, personal injury, oil, gas, and energy resources, and real estate. Michael and his son, apparently, they say this is what's being reported. They arrived at the home on Thursday or Friday, and on Sunday night, Mark was shot. Now, when they say they arrived home, you see, this is a huge 2,500-acre private property, so there must be other properties. With the way that it's worded in the news, I wish they would clear that up, but it's like they arrived at the home. So were they there for, like a weekend away or what? Stefan's like, ethics. Yes. He's an ethics attorney. who had been disbarred about 20 years ago, but he seems to be he was still practicing now. I think he might be disbarred again. Maybe, based on the charges he's facing, but we shall see. Of course, he's innocent till proven guilty. So Michael and his son arrived at the home on Thursday or Friday. I don't know with who else. Was it just the two of them? No idea. I've got many questions still in this case, as I'm sure all of you do as well. This is the one snippet that I could find where they said McDonough, which is the sheriff, believes that Michael Howard contacted his wife and Mark Howard's older brother. Oh, Mark Howard's older brother. So it sounds like Mark has an older brother, right? Before he eventually called the sheriff's office. Can't find any pictures of them or information about them. How old is his older brother? Is Michael's wife Mark's mother? I haven't seen anything like that, but they said he believes that Michael Howard contacted his wife and Mark's older brother before he eventually called the sheriff's office. According to McDonough, Michael Howard's wife has been interviewed by the sheriff's office. So interesting as well. Sherry Ann Woods, thank you for being here. You said, so sad. My son has, how do I pronounce that? Syndrome, missing 2211 gene. George syndrome, missing 2211 gene. He's my life, my star. Oh, thank you for sharing and thank you for being here with us. So, Jackie Sullivan says he looks like a nice young man. Rest in peace. Yes. Now, Monday, December 2nd of 2024, Michael called a deputy, or a deputy, because I'm like, the deputy. He called the deputy from Sabine County Sheriff's Office on his cell phone, meaning he called the deputy's personal cell phone, apparently. I think he thought he's like, hey, buddy, guess what? Okay, so he called him at approximately 2 p.m. The time's important, to let him know that he had accidentally shot his son the evening before. That's why the time's important, because at the press conference, you'll hear they say he waited approximately 17 hours before calling the police. And that, of course, is a huge red flag. Obviously, if it also includes, washing the area where an incident may have happened. Wow. So we shall check, we'll check that information out in a moment. Interrogation Files, hello to you, said happy weekend, Grizzly True Crime, and all the Grizzlies, and to you. So he says it is because he mistook his son for an intruder. Interestingly, there was a report of a burglary or a theft at the property where the police were called just 2 days prior. He said a large mower and trailer was stolen. And while that absolutely may be true, another option in my mind, based on all the cases we study, is like, was that premeditated? You know what I mean? We're like, ooh, burglars. And then 2 days later, whoops. Shot my son, thought he was another burglar or intruder. I don't know. My mind went there. I'm speculating with that, okay? We don't know. Maybe there really was a burglar or intruder and they stole a mower and a trailer. He told authorities after he shot him. So trigger warning, all right? He placed his son's body in a front-loading bucket of a backhoe tractor and transported it to a remote area on his property about 2 miles, which is 3.2 kilometers away. That's weird. That's why the sheriff is like, what? You did what? I mean, if he thought he was an intruder and he shot his son, would he not attempt life-saving measures? Would he not call the police right away? Would he not call 911? So, no, instead, what he did was place his son's body in a front-loading bucket of a backhoe tractor and transported it to a remote area on the property about 2 miles away. He then placed his body on a wood, sometimes they call it a wood pile in the articles and sources that I've linked below for you. Sometimes they say trash pile. I do have a little picture of it that I think it was the New York Post shared. And so a wood or trash pile, and cremated him because he says that's what he would have wanted. Really? You think that your son would have wanted you to burn his body on a trash pile? I don't think so. I don't think so. This sounds like, I'm going to speculate again, a dumbass who thought that he could get rid of evidence with fire and it didn't work out, right? Okay. Thank you, Kraken. I'm just going to put your comment up here for a moment. So he then cleaned the scene of the shooting with a water hose and called police 17 hours later. I don't know. This guy reminds me a little bit of Alec Murdaugh, doesn't he? I don't know. Just like similar type of property, similar type of scene. Got the water hose going. Okay, the Sabine County Sheriff's deputies arrived at the 2500 block of Mount Sinai Road and made contact with Michael, who told them that this whole thing was a horrible accident. Okay, then why'd you not call the police the night before? He pointed out the shotgun. So he pointed it out to the police. There's the shotgun that he claimed to have used in the incident, which was inside one of the buildings of the property. Deputies searched the property for his son, but they couldn't locate him or any sign of him. So Michael showed them the area where he then cremated him, which I would assume, they would have to go there with a vehicle or something because it's, it's about 2 miles away, 3.2 kilometers. That would be quite a walk as well. Stefan says 17 hours is a bit hard to explain, I think. I think that's going to be a difficult one for him. I wonder if he feels all like emboldened because he's an attorney. But I mean, this is pretty sus what he was doing here. So then, deputies searched the property for his son, but they couldn't locate him, so Michael took him to the area where he cremated him. A search warrant for the property was obtained, and Texas Rangers assisted with locating Mark's remains. They found body parts and bones, including a jawbone with teeth, so the mandible. All bones appear to have been burned based on charring, and the area they were found in was heavy with soot and ash. The recovered body parts have been sent to the medical examiner's office, the sheriff's office said. The sheriff said, it is a bizarre crime, anywhere you are, just because of the nature of the event. Simon says, they'll throw away the key. Rebecca Haley says, absolutely deliberate and absolutely tragic. Yeah, this is very sad. So, here's a picture from the New York Post. I've linked the article in the description box for you if you want to go check it out. That was my source for these. It's a bizarre crime anywhere you are just because of the nature of the event, McDonough said. Mr. Howard committed this act and in furtherance of that burnt the body and cleaned the crime scene, which as an investigator I would take as indicative of nefarious purposes or for nefarious purposes. I mean, this is why I say it reminds me slightly of Alec Murdaugh, right? Just like it's not the same looking property, but just the type of property, this remote property. Apparently, it's also the only property in that area, is what one of the news clips said. And they said if anyone drove past or waved at him or whatever, he wasn't known as a friendly guy, as in the dad who's been arrested. Okay, so. I mean, did you see that picture? Just what the hell is going on here? And you know what another question I have is? Well, when was that created? Why is that there? What is going on there? Apparently it was already there before. So when and why? Why 2 miles, on the property, 2 miles away, probably from the house, I would assume. There's this like random trash and wood pile. Wow. Okay. I will show you a map. Vicky says, what part of Houston did you say? So Michael was arrested and charged with murder and tampering with evidence, washing the scene with water. They believe he washed away a lot of blood. He's being held at the Sabine, I hope I'm saying that right. Is it like Sabine or Sabine? Sabine County Jail on a $20 million bond, $10 million for each charge. Sabine County District Attorney Paul Robbins stated additional charges are being considered. The case remains under investigation by the Sabine County Sheriff's Office. Shame, man. Poor Mark. 20 years old. Special needs son. Had a job. Was high functioning. Reportedly loved his life. And was shot, allegedly, by his dad because he thought, he's an intruder. Alright, so now what we're going to do is I'm going to show you the map very quickly and then we will watch the press conference. So let's do that. Okay, and we are back, and I've obviously got to put the map up. How about that? Okay, so let's do it like this. And zoom in nicely for you. Let's see if I can collapse this. All right. So in Houston, Texas, on this, what is this road called? 402 East 11th Street, Houston, Texas. This is where his practice is. This is, well, is. He's got a lot of 5-star reviews, actually. A lot of people seem to like him as an attorney. Liked him as an attorney, right? James Bond said, like to see what internet searches he performed. Me too. Yes, what internet searches did this guy perform? So Houston, Texas, this is where Michael C. Howard was practicing as an attorney with a private practice. And we already went over all the categories or the services he offered, right? Here's the Sabine County Sheriff's Office that I just put there because I was trying to narrow down this area. I believe it's that one because if you type in the 2500 Mount Sinai Road, it's very difficult to find actually. So let me do this so that we can see it like that. Okay, they said near Fairmount. So here's Fairmount. So this is the correct road, Mount Sinai Road. And 2500-ish is around here. You just can't put the Google man down there. But look at this area. My word. That's a lot of property. I don't know how much of it he owns or which one exactly his house is, but it's around this area where, would be the 2500 block. So, Mount Sinai Road. So here's a property, Could have been, I just can't, can we put the Google man here? Mr. Google man doesn't really want to go there. Sorry about that. He doesn't want to be put here. But yeah, that's where it is. So this is the area, I think it's Sabine County, right? G Mommy says, go to Jasper, Texas in Sabine County. It didn't happen in Houston. No, this is where it happened. This is where it happened, right? Jasper, Texas in Sabine County. It didn't happen in Houston. I mean, Houston is far away. His practice is in Houston, Texas. Right? Okay, let's just take that off. Okay, so we have that. Now, let's bring up the press conference so that I can show you that. Oh, let me quickly show you this before we go there. Hold on one second. Let's just bring this. This Michael C. Howard, attorney at law, private practice, Houston, Texas. That's the address in Houston, Texas. Ethics, legal malpractice, family, personal injury, oil, gas, energy, resources, and real estate. So here the practice information, firm size, solo, private law practice, services provided. Okay, these are not specified. And then here, law school, he went to the South Texas College of Law, graduation 01/1984. And G Mommy says, yeah, it's about 2.5 hours. It is, yeah. Where the property I just showed, that is about 2.5 hours away. So, public disciplinary history, State Bar of Texas. It says here active, suspension, active. There was a suspension in 1995. It looks like the sanction started on the 3rd of the 3rd, 95 to 12/07/95. But since then, he was back in business, right? I don't know what exactly he did. Synth Server said, what intruder is meandering around 2,500 acres, especially near the house? Although, as I say, 2 days before, he had called the police and that's the funny thing. I want to know how he called the police. And by that, I mean, because when he was going to tell the police that he accidentally shot his son, is what he said, he called the deputy on his cell phone. So, when there was a burglary, who did he call then? Because if he called 911, oh, that's going to be so dodgy. That's going to be so dodgy, right? Debbie Burke says, Gravita, thank you for covering this tragic situation. Thank you for being here. All right, so now what we're going to do is watch the press conference. Wait, let me make sure it's boosted for you. Okay. And this press conference was from yesterday. Today is December 7th of 2024. So this is from December 6th of 2024. Make sure I've got it nicely sized for you. Full screen for us. Here we go.
All right, everybody, you ready?
Yes, sir.
All right. Good afternoon. My name is J.P. McDonough. That's M-A-C, capital D-O-N-O-U-G-H. And up here with me is the District Attorney for Sabine County, Paul Robbins. He'll be making a statement after I make mine, and then I will entertain questions like I told you about. If you don't mind, I got to put on my eyeball. On December 2nd, 2024, at or about 1400 hours, a deputy from the Sabine County Sheriff's Office was contacted by telephone, his work cell phone, by Michael C. Howard, Howard advised that deputy that he had accidentally shot his own son, Mark Randall Howard, whom he had mistaken for an intruder at his property. Howard further noted that this had occurred on the evening of December 1st, 2024, and that he had taken the body of the deceased, placed it in the front loading bucket of a backhoe tractor, and carried it to a remote area on his property and placed the body on a pile of wood and other burnable material, which had been previously set up. And then, his words, cremated his son in accordance with what he felt his son would have wanted. Deputies arrived at the location in the 2500 block of Mount Sinai Road and contacted Howard. He advised those deputies the same information and noted that the whole thing was a horrible accident. Howard also pointed out the shotgun that he claimed to have used in the incident, which was located inside one of the little structures there that they were using as a house. Deputies, of course, searched with his consent, searched the property and the buildings, trying to find Mark, make sure that Mark was missing. Mark was in fact missing. He then indicated to the deputies the area where he had cremated the body, which was located approximately 1.5 to 2 miles from the scene of the shooting that he reported. That location is also on property owned by Mr. Howard or his corporation. We obtained a search warrant. Deputies processed the scene along with the Texas Rangers after a search warrant was obtained, obviously, and we did recover what we believe to be body parts and bones, specifically a portion of the lower jaw or the mandible, which contained a few teeth. All bones appeared to have been burned based on the charring in the area around but where the bones were found was heavy with soot and ash. Additional items of evidence were also recovered. There were also indications that the scene of the shooting had actually been washed or cleaned using a water hose. The remains of the deceased were transported to the Jefferson County Medical Examiner's Office, where they are now awaiting autopsy. Howard is currently being held at the Sabine County Jail on a charge of murder and tampering with physical evidence, human corpse.
Sabine. So I need to practice how to say it like a local. Sabine. Lacey Slaughter said, growing up rural Texas, my grandparents didn't have trash service, so we burned trash on the property. It's relatively normal in rural Texas to have trash burn pits. Thank you so much. Does it look like what the picture that I showed? Would that be pretty normal in rural Texas? Or not? Does it look strange to you or no? Starter Villain said, I have a feeling there was evidence that an unburned body would have testified to and he didn't want it to be known. Soft tissue injuries that he didn't want anyone to know about. I mean, it could be. He could have also just thought that he could destroy all evidence with fire, and it's just never hot enough, which so clearly they don't watch any true crime, right? K-Can says, why was he trying to get rid of the body? And to say that his son would have wanted that. Really? Your son would have wanted you to burn his body on a trash pile? I don't think so.
His bond has been set at $10 million per charge.
See, that's where some of the articles you'll see will say that his bond is set at $10 million. Per charge, though. So he's got a $20 million bond right now, and they're looking at pursuing other charges.
I'm District Attorney Paul Robbins. I'm the District Attorney for the 1st Judicial District of the state of Texas, which contains Sabine and St. Augustine County. Again, you're aware that Mr. Howard has been arrested. He's in the Sabine County Jail. He'll be afforded every opportunity any other inmate is. Likewise, I've been in contact with his attorney. We'll be moving forward as we always are.
I didn't pick that up the first time. I've been in contact with, so he has an attorney now. Interesting. I wonder if I need to find out. Is it a public defender? Probably not. Probably a private one, right? Is it a friend? Who is it? Who's his attorney?
With an indictment before a grand jury. We're looking at numerous charges, including some misdemeanor charges, but additional charge to murder and to the desecration or mishandling of a corpse, but also tampering with evidence of the actual crime scene. So we'll be moving forward in the days to come. The Sheriff's Office is doing an excellent job in conjunction with the Texas Rangers of doing this investigation. That's being within the oversight of the Chief Investigator for the DA's office, Terry Maston. He's working closely with them, providing support, providing information and guidance from the District Attorney's Office. We're working well in conjunction on this and hope to be moving forward with the investigation very quickly.
Do we have any questions?
Any timeline on the court proceedings?
No, sir. No timeline available on that just yet.
Can you talk about any previous calls for this property regarding?
There was some previous calls to that property. One involved the theft of an anvil some time back. There was a deputy dispatched out there. In fact, the deputy that he called on the cell phone, on his work cell phone, was the deputy that was out there Friday, November the 29th, in regards to some additional burglaries / thefts where a Kubota zero-turn 54-inch deck was stolen along with a lowboy trailer.
And I heard you say you worked in Sugar Land for many years.
Yes, I did.
You've seen some crimes. Can you put this in perspective regarding Sabine County and the bizarre nature of it?
It is a bizarre crime anywhere you are. I mean, just because of the nature of the event. Mr. Howard, committed this act, and then in the furtherance of that, burned the body and cleaned the crime scene, which as an investigator I would take as indicative of nefarious purposes, or for nefarious purposes.
Has the mother made any comments to the department about?
The mother was interviewed yesterday, and this, as was his eldest son.
How many siblings does this?
Okay, so mother and his eldest son were interviewed as well. So, all right.
Victim have?
He also has a daughter that's younger than the son.
So there's 3 total?
There's 3
Or
total.
anyone else on the property besides the father and the victim?
No, just the father and the victim.
How much? That's okay. Did he contact the wife and the mother before he contacted you?
That is my understanding. I do not have confirmation on that.
And he set the fire on Sunday?
We presume he set it on Sunday.
How much of a delay was there between setting the fire and then calling that deputy?
Somewhere in the neighborhood of 17 hours.
Can you speak to what ties Howard has to Sabine County? Why?
He is a property owner in the county.
Do we know how long he's owned property?
He's owned property he's owned property in the county for a while.
Okay. And the victim, are we going to get a photo of the victim or anything? Has the family provided anything on Mark?
I have not asked the family to provide a photograph.
Okay.
I do have a photograph of him, but it's from a source that I can't release it to you because it's not my photograph.
How long had the victim been at the home before he was shot?
If I remember correctly, they arrived either Thursday or Friday.
Did the father have any kind of criminal history at all?
I'm not going to comment on that.
Will his passport be revoked if he makes bond?
That is
or
a-
assets be frozen?
The passport will be surrendered as a condition of bond, one of many conditions.
Okay. And we know anything about assets as far as what he can spend money-wise? I know you can't run if you don't have money, pretty much.
There are no restrictions on, I have no information that would indicate that we would be going after any financials.
Can you talk any more about the son's special needs?
Mark, the victim in this incident, was diagnosed and has been diagnosed, according to family, with Down syndrome. He was a high-functioning, even had a job, but he did have Down syndrome.
When you say that he had placed his remains on a pile of wood, are we talking like a funeral pyre?
I did not have the opportunity to see the pile of wood before he burned it, so I can't answer that.
The entrance to his property is right next to Fairdale Baptist Church. Has anybody at the church claimed that they've seen anything?
We have not made contact. We did reach out to some people that we had information that were in the area on Monday, and they all reported that they did not notice anything unusual.
Does he own that entire property past the gate? Is it his? Because we noticed like there were 10 lots on the gate. Is all that his property or is it right away for other people?
There are several portions of property or tracts of land. He does own several of them. The area that this event occurred is roughly 2,533 acres, I believe.
Did the calls for service that you described, do you believe that maybe that played into his thought that the son was a possible intruder?
I'm not going to answer that at this point.
Do we know the age of the son? We put that on the top.
20.
Has he come off remorseful at all? It doesn't seem like he has any resentment towards his son, if you could tell.
I have no indication, investigatively speaking, that would address that.
Do you know who Mr. Howard's attorney is?
Yes.
What's his name?
That's up for him to provide.
What's the time frame for the calls for service that you described, the prior one?
The one on Friday?
The ones, the burglary, the theft.
Okay, the burglary occurred Friday afternoon. It was reported to the sheriff's office Friday afternoon through normal channels. In other words, called up to the sheriff's office.
See, through normal channels. But then the one to report that he shot his son, not a normal channel. Calling the deputy on his cell phone. So for for theft, you're going to be like, hello, normal channels, whatever that may be. 911 or calling the sheriff's office. After that, you're like, maybe you got a card from the deputy. Maybe you got a card and a cell phone number, and that's why I did that. It just adds to it all, right?
He contacted the deputies on the cell phone roughly a little before 2 p.m. on Monday.
And what about the animal theft? Was that also Friday?
Animal?
Is that what you said?
No, anvil, like an anvil.
Is any of that property been recovered?
No, none of that property has been recovered to date.
Is it a hunting lease also, or other people would have access to that?
I'm not familiar with that. I know there's one other individual we did interview as well that had access. In fact, he was referred to as a caretaker. All right, so no further questions. Sheriff Tom Maddox thanks you for your attendance. He sends his apologies for not being able to be here. He's a little under the weather, but he wanted to make sure that we thank you for your attendance here today.
Can I ask one more question before Mr. Robbins?
Sure.
Murder is very broad, or is it going to maybe be first degree, capital, any of those things matter?
They all matter, but we don't have enough information to determine that.
We have just finished hearing from...
Oh no, they interrupted the last answer. But I'm very grateful for the coverage. Okay, so I've linked this for you if you want to check it out. There's one other clip that I want to quickly show you here, just a little snippet of it over here.
Texas Rangers recovering charred body parts and bones. It all happened at the family.
Sorry, that's a little bit soft. We're going to have to boost this one. Hold on one second. Let's boost it a lot. We can.
Family's large lake home on about 2,500 acres down this road right here, east of Highway 87. The only home in that area. A neighbor told us how east of Highway 87. The only home in that area. A neighbor told us Howard kept to himself, barely speaking with anyone. She says he would never wave when they were fishing on Toledo Bend either. The sheriff's office calling the investigation ongoing as it works to learn more about what happened. That news conference in Sabine County, the first time investigators and prosecutors have spoken publicly in front of the cameras about the case that's making headlines across our state. Fox 4's Aaron Mack was there. He's back tonight with this report.
One of the worst crimes the Sabine County Sheriff's Office say they have seen in years when 68-year-old Michael C. Howard claimed he accidentally shot his son on his property. He contacted law enforcement on the night of December 2nd, 2024.
Howard advised that deputy that he had accidentally shot his own son, Mark Randall Howard.
So the rest is just clips of the press conference that we've just watched together as well. So I think that, let me just check that if I've shown you everything. Just hold on one second. I think I've shown you everything. Yes, that's all we have for now. So let's wait to see, are there going to be more charges? Of course, it's Texas. That's a death penalty state, right? They don't play. This could get quite intense for Mr. Howard there. If there's any more information, of course, that comes out, I will let you know. If there's any documents, that we can get our hands on, of course, we will read that together as well. Elizabeth says, anvils are big and heavy, hardly something you want to just walk away with, right? Hannah says, going to ask Google what an anvil is. April B12 said he probably hired someone to steal something stupid just to have the excuse about burglaries in the area. That's why I do think his cell phone information, the forensic extraction of that's going to be interesting. What were his Google searches? What messages did he send to anyone else? Did he ask someone? Did he organize the stealing or not? Maybe it won't be. He's a lawyer, man. He's a lawyer. He should know better. You know what I mean? Like maybe he's like, okay, well, now we're speculating. If the burglary was organized by him, maybe he paid someone cash. Maybe there's no trace of that. If it truly was just a burglary, well, what a coincidence that it was just 2 days before this. Did it then, is that going to be his defense? That there was a burglary? That things were stolen from his property, heavy things apparently, stolen from his property just 2 days before, and so he was on high alert, maybe PTSD, and thought his son was an intruder. I could see that happening at a trial, right? That type of defense. Jesse says, innocent until proven guilty. But let me just say it like this. Guilty as F. Right? Innocent. Thank you that I could read out your comment there. This is very hectic. Minty says, don't mess with Texas is the slogan. Right? So what a place to do this as well. Allegedly. He says he thought his son was an intruder. It's just all the actions afterwards are so strange. Like, whoa, okay, so you thought he was an intruder and you shot him. But then to transport his body 2 miles away and attempt to burn his body. Ooh, oh my goodness. And then wash the area where the shooting occurred. Wow. They also don't tell us like how many times he shot him or what happened or anything. We don't have no other context. Was there an argument? We don't know. But yes, it's very sad for Mark, who was only 20 years old, high functioning with a job. Man. So, and we did hear that the sheriff's office has spoken to his mother, so Mark's mother, older brother, and there's also a younger sister. So there were 3 kids, and I would wonder if they were all at the property at the time, because that's not clear either, because they say they arrived at the property on Thursday or Friday. So I don't know if that would be, again, is it for like a weekend? And I'm not too sure. Brenda says, right, how about CPR and 911? Exactly. So if you have any information to share with me, anything to add, please email me, grizzlytruecrime@gmail.com. You can also leave a comment below. I'll keep you posted on what happens. Make sure you check out my YouTube shorts and my community posts, because sometimes I update you there when there's just something small that's been added, right? So I will keep you posted. Thank you so much, everyone. If you are a YouTube member, we are now going to teleport to a YouTube members only stream, and we'll continue to chat more over there. All right, everyone, stay safe.